we stripped down a bit of it. You can see this rear axle here, and there's no dust covers in that bearing there. That's on purpose to reduce the friction. I don't have the dust covers, so I'm not going to put them back in. But when I do, or if I do replace these bearings, I'll put them in there anyway, because this is more of a fun toy than a competitive machine. Although, depending on how well we do, we might revise that. It's looking good. It's coming apart nice and easily. This is obviously a well looked after machine. Well, I've just taken the axle out, and yeah, I'm glad I've done that, because this bearing, well, now I've cleaned it out, you can see all the crap down there. That's really bad. I'll probably replace the pair and keep the other one as a spare. I'm glad I've sort of torn this axle down, because there were some bits on it I really didn't like. There are some bits I really do like. For example, this is pretty much a brand new sprocket carrier. It looks fine as it is. The bolts actually look like they're in very good condition. It's just the nuts that really are in not a great way. And I can turn these by hand, and they've got nylocks on them. Yeah, it's just use. It's a used cart, so what do you expect? So older go-karts tend to have a front wheel with the bearing in the wheel. New ones will have a hub with the 3 bolts to bolt the wheel on, but the older ones are usually this style, and it's usually a 17mm stub axle, which is what this is as well. So just checking these bearings out. This one on the rear's not great. This one here on the outside is seized, and this one on the inside seems to be quite worn as well, and the one on the outside here is actually good. So only one bearing is good in this. Trying to leave the wheel already. So yeah, we're going to need a new set of bearings for the front wheels as well, I think. It's been so hot today, I've come here this evening to do some of this. I've taken off the front master cylinder here in the brake. We've got the brake caliper here. We've also got the TKM logo and stamp there as well. The problem is, the way this is being put together, I'm going to have to break into the hydraulic circuit to take this off, and I don't want to do it, so I'm going to pop it back on. I think the brakes I'm not too concerned about, they seem to be working fine, and by all accounts this is supposed to be a new master cylinder as well. So there's also these brake parts here, there's spacers or something. I haven't quite figured out where they're for yet. I don't know if they're in the caliper or somewhere for mounting this, but yeah, if anyone knows what these are for, I'd like to know. But there's 4 of them. So this steering wheel has a couple of adjustment holes right there, and I raised the height of it, which is quite good for a really tall driver like me. In this class we're allowed a ride height adjustment at the front only. As you can see, we've got some spaces in there, one at the top and one at the bottom, that we can use to raise the car or lower the car. Just taken off the left front upright, and they do contain bearings. There's 2 bearings in here. I mean, these are absolutely knackered as well, so these need replacing. It's not surprising really, because these do take an absolute hammering. It's not uncommon for them to fail, and we'll get a new set of them. The other thing is there's a bit of a kink in it, which is not unsurprising for a go-kart that's nearing, nearly 30 years old. So it's been hammered back into shape at some point, but it looks straight enough, so we'll go with that. So to get the steering column and tank out, I think we've got to take the floor off, mostly because the way the tank is mounted, it needs to come through the bottom. But the steering column, we need to get a nut off that's underneath here. It's loose in there as well. Maybe the nut needs replacing on that one as well. We'll take the pedals off first, then take the floor off, and then take the rest of it off. So I have noticed on these pedals there's like a brass nut here. I just wonder if that's because these are sleeved with brass or something, which would make sense because they're pedals. But yeah, this one's a little bit loose, this pedal here. So that's the accelerator pedal hole. There doesn't seem to be any brass in it or anything. It's just loose from wear, and there's not a lot we can really do about it. You can see it's not as shiny underneath as it is on top. play isn't this nut looseness, it's this bearing in here, so we'll have to replace that. So that's the floor out, and you can see the damage to the floor here. It's there, we've lost a chunk out of there, so I think we will remake this floor with this 2mm alley that we've got. So that's it, we've stripped this kart. It took about a day. The only bits we've left on are the brakes, because we'd have to break the hydraulic circuit to fix that. I'm really glad we took it apart, because pretty much all the bearings were shot except for 2. So we can replace those and build it back up. So that begs the question, do we just repair the floor by building a new one and putting it on and then replacing the bearings and put it all back and go racing? Or do you think we should strip it down completely, powder coat it, make it look really good? I mean, it will never be perfect because it's an old kart and there's old bits on it, and I'm not going to get new chrome bits and replace all the chrome bits. Obviously I don't want to spend too much money, this is supposed to be a bit of fun. Yeah, leave a comment down below and let us know what you think we should do.